excited to be coming to do the second video. Well, no. It's the third video, but the second topic in the Road to Marriage series. And this one is all about dating the one. So if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I was dating my husband for 5 years, including the engagement period before we got married. So I have quite a bit of knowledge about dating the one. So I'm really excited to share it with you guys now. So I was thinking about this question for a while now. The past week or so, I'm just like, wait, and I'm trying to think of different moments that might have happened in the beginning of our relationship, and nothing was settling with me on why I thought he was the one. And then it clicked. So I knew he was the one because of the peace that followed the relationship. So I will say that my husband and I are very similar in a lot of ways. Two in particular ways is that we're both very opinionated, and we are both, or can be, very stubborn. So as you would imagine, we kind of butt heads sometimes, and even earlier on in the relationship when we were kind of still feeling each other out, figuring out how we can work together as a dating couple, we would get into arguments. And at the end of the day, I remember one day we got into a really big blowout, and I was on the phone with my best friend, Kim, who y'all saw in previous videos, and she was just like, it's still early. Do you feel like this is it? Like, do you want to leave him? And instantly the answer was like, no, of course not. And when I think back at that, that's when I realized that the peace of God was over the relationship. So regardless of what we went through, in my heart, in my gut, I felt that peace, and I knew that this was the person I was to be with long term. And I am really happy that I didn't let little disagreements and things like that tear us apart. So yeah, so that's how I knew that he was the one. It is so important to be patient during the dating process when you're dating the one. So this was something that it took me forever to learn, and honestly, I don't think that I fully learned it until after we got engaged. Because I was the youngest in my main group of friends at that time, most of them, actually all of them, went ahead and got married within maybe a 2-year span of my husband and I dating, or my boyfriend and I at the time dating. And therefore it was really difficult for me to be patient, because I'm just like, my girlfriends are all married and doing married things, and I know this guy is the one, and I still can't be with him like that. It sucks leaving him at nights. I want to go home with him, and blah, 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 blah. And let me tell you, this stressed me out so much, which is why I now understand why it's so important to be patient. When you are patient, your patience is really going to rest in the fact that you know this is the one. So when you know it, you know what's yours is yours, and it doesn't really matter what happens, because at the end of the day, you have faith in the purpose of your relationship, and you know that you're going to get married. So although this is something that I didn't do when I was dating, I implore you to do it, because it's going to save you stress, and it'll cause the dating process to be more enjoyable, because you're dating in faith, knowing that you're going to get married. When you're dating the person who you know that God has for you, and you have that love for them, especially when you've been dating a long time like me, I will say that remaining pure is extremely difficult. And to be honest, my husband and I slipped up while we were dating, and we did fall into fornication, not like heavy, but we slipped here and there, and it definitely wasn't a good look, because it brings guilt into your relationship. And it also, you can pray, you repent, but at the same time, I can now say, and this is something that I told my girlfriends after my honeymoon, waiting until you're married, the sex when you're having sex with your husband is so much more different. It's so much more pure. I wish I could really explain it, but that's the only word that seems right. The sex is amazing, and there's a purity to it, and I don't know, you just know that God is in it. I told my girlfriends who were dating still at the time, and I was just like, ladies, please wait. Like, it's so important. And there's a difference. I guess it's a spiritual connection and a physical connection, because God is pleased. There's just such a difference. I can't lie. I wish that my husband and I waited, because the way it felt on the honeymoon was like nothing else. And even after the honeymoon, and now that we've been married, there's just a huge difference. And not only is God pleased, but we're pleased. We're able to live a life that is pleasing unto God. So if you're dating the one, trust me, I know how difficult it is, but stay strong. Stay strong. It is possible. I know other people who have done it, or even if you slipped up already, today, make a pact with yourself, with God, with your boyfriend, who you know is going to be your husband, and decide that today is a day of fresh virginity. You are now clean, clean slate, and go forth just holding yourself and holding your purity. It'll teach you patience. It'll also teach you discipline. And discipline is something that is extremely important in your marriage anyway. So this is good time. This is a good way to prepare yourself in that way. So please, if you can, actually no, not if you can, do remain pure. It'll be worth it in the long run, I promise. Not only to you and your husband, but to God. And I really believe that God is going to honor that decision. Okay, so like I mentioned a little bit ago, I was very impatient during the dating time of my relationship. And people would tell me, Celeste, save money, you know this is the person you're gonna get married to, weddings are expensive, blah 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 blah. Read up, Celeste, read on things concerning being a wife and blah 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 blah. And I was just like, no, I don't know what he's gonna propose. I'm not gonna waste my time, I'm not gonna waste my money, blah 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 blah, catching attitudes and all these things. And at the end of the day, I regretted it. I regretted me being so stubborn, because well, this is what ended up happening. In terms of the money, we ended up deciding to save together maybe 2 or 3 months prior to the wedding. And I think we saved about $2,000, give or take. And that money came in so handy, because as soon as we got engaged, it was just like, pow, 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 let's plan our wedding. And that money came, it was a down payment for the venue, down payment for the photographer. It just came in so handy. And that was when I realized that I should have saved more, and I should have saved for longer. So if you feel like, oh my God, this waiting period is just taking so long, start doing things, active things that will help you once the engagement comes. So start saving, start reading. I wish I read more books about being a wife prior to getting engaged, just so that I can be more equipped, than I was going into the relationship. I will give 3 recommendations. There are 3 books that one that I read thoroughly, and 2 that I read here and there, because once I got it after the engagement, I was only thinking about the wedding, so I didn't get a chance to read them thoroughly. But I will suggest, I don't know if you guys can see it, but this one, The Power of a Praying Wife. So you don't need to be married to read this. I mean, start reading it from now so you can prepare about what you have to read or what you can expect. So I don't know if you can see it, but that's it. Then this is another one, Things I Wish I'd Known Before We Got Married, which is this here. And, sorry, the last one is Before You Say I Do Devotional. And this is great because you and your future husband can do it together, can read together. So yeah, that's pretty much all. I just really want to encourage anyone who is dating the one right now. I know the struggle, trust me, I definitely know the struggle, but I will say that it is absolutely worth it in the end. And just use this time to prepare yourself, to stay pure, to equip yourself for what it'll take to be a wife. And also another great way of preparing yourself is to continue learning your boyfriend. Continue praying together. Praying together is a huge, huge, Huge part. So definitely pray together. Don't neglect that, because that's something that you're definitely going to need to do while you're married. So get a head start on preparing while you're dating still. And I just hope that this is helpful for somebody out there who's watching. Be encouraged. And again, I can't say this enough. I know I said it like twice or three times in the video already, but put your faith in the purpose of your relationship. And once you do that, God will give you the strength to keep going forward. And once you get engaged and married, it will be all worth it. So I love you guys so much. Until next time, bye.